The most common activities that telesales, life insurance, and or final expense agents do in order to become successful mainly comes down to like making the dials. However, there are some huge differences between life insurance agent and the top producer. Yes, mindset and work ethic are huge. However, there is a little bit more to it than just that. Today, I'll be throwing more actionable tips that are designed to help you take your sales game to the next level and potentially change your life financially. Meanwhile, helping more people than ever. So how about we just start with a big old thumbs up, and I do suggest subscribing if you're new to the channel. We're putting out new insurance sales content and final expense sales training videos just like this every week. So let's address the leads part of the equation and get that out of the way first. You need a lot of leads. We're not talking like 20 per week, but potentially hundreds per week. Now, let me just make this clear. If you really expect to earn a very nice living in this business, you know, the final expense sales industry, my suggestion is basically if you cannot afford to have a constant influx of leads, to get with an agency that will provide them, you know, for you with no additional charge to you. There's a lot of companies doing this nowadays. Just make sure to do your due diligence. I know, like with our free leads program, the first thing that we do is make sure that even a brand spanking new agent can potentially have hundreds of leads even in their first week. And guys, real quick, if you'd like a copy of the rebuttals and objections cheat sheet along with a copy of the final expense remote sales script, stick around to the end of the video and I'm going to show you how to get both of these for yourself. Okay guys, let's address the elephant in the room and get that out of the way too. One of the biggest pieces of fake news that I get all the time from struggling agents is, if I only had a better lead, I know I would do much better. Guys, it's rarely the leads. I mean, even crappy telemarketed leads actually work pretty good for someone who has, you know, the basic skill set to be able to close sales. A good example of this is how I see agents making multiple sales in a single week off of leads that are aged out or that were originally generated for an agent who just flat out failed. To me, it comes down to making lots of dials and sounding and behaving smooth and professional on the phone. Meanwhile, understanding basic concepts of, well, why people make objections, and therefore knowing how to accept the objection as an actual opportunity so that you could build value in the products that you're selling. Sales 101, guys, sales 101. Some of my best clients gave me at least one objection, and I simply took that as the opportunity to show off, you know, basically why they would want to buy from me, you know, by building the value in the product that I was selling, therefore building rapport on top. To me, this really is part of the mindset difference between your typical insurance agent and the top producing closer or salesperson. Even with inbound television leads, where the client is practically brainwashed by the commercial, you know, about basically a lot of those commercials are like, you know, they talk about how it's super important that they get this life insurance. Top agents are only closing around 20-25%, maybe 30% if they're like a super producer. So guys, at the end of the day, it's better to have more leads that are good than to spend like 80 bucks on a lead that is supposed to be the best that there is. Which again is why it's so important that you develop the necessary skill set and do the actual work on yourself than it is to keep moving from agency to agency to agency looking for that magical lead. A top producer understands this and can be successful pretty much anywhere they go. And you know, back when I was a Hartford agent, I paid top dollar for my leads. My commission level was only 60%, and yes, eventually, you know, I ended up turning out to be a top producer back then. But in the beginning, I was one of the worst life insurance agents in the entire country. I mean, it was bad. I recorded my presentations, listened to what I was saying, you know, to the prospects, and made daily changes that completely turned things around for me. Meanwhile, I was reading books on NLP, building rapport, straight line selling. I basically did everything I was told to do by my managers and really put in 110% worth of effort. Trust me, I'm living proof that the problem was not the leads. I thought it was. The problem was me. And once I truly accepted that, I became willing to do something about it, and then I actually was able to change. So 1, you have to develop the skill set. 2, you have to have lots of leads, and 3, you gotta do the work, which means making the dials. A typical full-time life insurance producer will make 200 to 300 plus dials per day. Yes, this is very repetitive, but it works. You know, and think about it, they're using a dialer system, so they're just hitting a button. I feel like the biggest difference between the so-called struggling agent and the top producer is that the struggling agent struggles with acceptance, while the producer simply does the work that it takes to get through the learning curve and develop the skill set for success. And guys, if you're thinking that 200 dials per day sounds like an awful lot, trust me, you're definitely in the wrong business. Look, think about it. 100 leads per week times 10 dials per lead on average, just 10 dials per lead, and you easily have your 200 daily dials. If you'd like a copy of the Objections and Deflections cheat sheet along with the remote final expense telescript, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. For more information on working with us on our subsidized lead program, or even the fully independent side where you can get like 20 to 30 appointments every single day, just shoot me an email at that same address. As always, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. So get out there or get on that phone, and whatever you do, make sure that you do something good for someone else today. Happy hunting.